Guys, I'm going to show you guys how to add a script name and add a little tail so that we can attach it to these new frames of the ornaments that I just designed and released. We are in Adobe Illustrator, my program of choice. I did a one for Inkscape and Silhouette already, so we're here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do a script font. I'll show you a different way we can do a different method of attaching a name, and I'll quickly show you how to add an engrave to these ornaments. So we're going to use our text tool here, and I've got the font Hello Bluebird script already set. So we're going to write Olivia. I'm going to hold Shift and scale it up. If I hold Shift, it keeps it all nice and proportionate. If I don't hold Shift, I can get stretching and stuff, but you might want that, but I like to keep a lot of these things proportionate. So we're going to put this here. Now, as you can see, it ends with an A. So it's got a little tail there. So I'm going to actually attach that, overlap that onto the frame there. So then that'll unite to the frame perfectly. If it didn't do that, then I'm showing you how to do like we're going to do on this side, because we need to attach the O. So we've got the font Olivia. Now I need to convert this font to outlines. Now that keyboard command is Shift Command O, but it's up here under Type, Create Outlines. There we go. So we need to create a little tail here. Super quick and easy. My favorite tool, the blob brush tool. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. If you're on the paintbrush tool, you click and hold the paintbrush tool and you can go to the blob tool. So if you double click the blob tool, you can change the size. So if you see I got a giant blob tool here, we don't want that. So nice little size of maybe 6 point is going to work great. You got the roundness and stuff that you don't really have to worry about any of that. The smoothness, if it's nice and high, then it'll create a nice roundness there. Even if you mess it up, it kind of smooths it out for you. So I'm going to actually just click into the frame and then onto the letter O, just like that. Super easy, guys. As you can see, sometimes it attaches, sometimes it doesn't, but that'll be taken care of once we unite anyways. So now we have to connect these little hearts. So I'm going to ungroup this stuff. So we're going to go to Object, Ungroup, and then we're going to grab these here, little the eyes, and I can actually just go to Object, Compound Path, and release it. Same with this one here, Object, Compound Path, Release. That way we don't have to use the direct select tool. So now I can just move this heart down onto each of the eyes. And there you go. So now I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to make sure my Pathfinder panel is open. And I'm going to click the very first one here called Unite. And there you go. So we're going to change it from a fill to a stroke. I like to give all these things a stroke of 0.5. And there's your cut file. So if I wanted to add an engrave, which I probably do, underneath, I just take this and I put it over top of there. And I can just do whatever I want here, like First Christmas. That's an ugly font. Let's change that font. First Christmas, maybe you want to add like a 2022. You guys select whatever font you want. And then you would go to Type, Create Outlines, and you need to give this a different font color so that it recognizes it as an engrave, and it's a fill, not a stroke. I'm going to take my top part back, and there you go. Save that file as something different, not over top of my original file. And there you have it. You'll have the backer and the front. Bada boom, bada bing. So let's go back. Let's revert this back to the original. And I'll show you guys a different way to do this. So what if we had Olivia, but we wanted to use a different font, like some kind of script font? or serif font. This one's called Super Clarendon. I quite like it. So I would set the font in the middle there. I'm going to take my rectangle tool here, and I'm going to create a bar. 2 bars, just like monograms and stuff like that. We're going to go to, I have a faster way, I just hold Shift and Option, and I can bring it down right there like that. But for your guys' sakes, I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. We'll bring this bar here, making sure it overlaps the name as well as the frame. Now we still have to convert the font to outline, so we go to Type, Create Outlines. We're going to select all of that. We're going to go to our Pathfinder tool, click Unite, switch it to a stroke, and there you have it. And I already showed you guys how to put an engrave in. That's it. Super easy, guys. Show you how to put the script fonts into the new Ornament files that I just released, and I'll show you a different way as well. So let's just go ahead. We are in Silhouette Studio Business Edition. So I'm just going to open up my SVG here. So as you can see, we've got the backer, we've got the front. So we want a name here. So we're going to go over to our text tool, and we'll type Olivia. I'm going to select all there, and we'll change this to, oh, it's not doing that, so we'll just go find our Hello Bluebird script font. There we go. Let's bring that over here. So because the A ends with an A, I'm going to actually put that over top of here because we want to connect this name to this frame. So we're going to scale it up, make it look nice and good in that area. There we go. That looks really nice. So this will weld to the outer frame here, but we need something here. So I'm going to go over to my little pencil tool here with a little squirrely line, as you can see. And I'm just going to create a little thing like that. Then I'm going to go over on the right side over here to my line style palette, and we'll thicken that line up to something that will cut nice. I think that looks good. Now, I need to convert this to path. Now I thought, okay, I would go to convert to path, but that didn't seem to work. So what worked was I went to Object, Modify, Detach Lines. That turned that into a path much like this here. Now, we've got to connect these little hearts, the eye parts. So first, we got to select the name again. As you can see, it's still all one. And we're going to go to Convert to Path. Now it's no longer a font. Then we need to go to Ungroup. So now each letter is its own separate thing. But my eyes are still connected. So the way that I've seen that we can do that is I right-clicked on it and went to Release Compound Path. And I can probably do that from the menu up here as well. Object, Release Compound Path. There you go. So then I can select my 2 little hearts, and I'll just use the arrow keys and move them down. There we go. Now I'm just going to select all of this, not selecting the back. I'm going to go to Object, Modify, Weld. There you go, guys. So that is it. Set your stroke back on that. And we do not want to fill. We want, so no fill, but we want a nice stroke of black. And there we go. So we'll go with the 0.5 thickness. There you go. So I created a little tail here for the O, the A attached. If your letter ended on the some other thing that didn't have a tail that was convenient like that, then you can just do the same thing you did here. So that's it for that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you a different way to do this. So we'll open up the file again. So let's go ahead and use the name Olivia again. I'll bring this down into here. Let's change the font to something. What we got? Let's go with a serif font. I don't have all the same fonts in here that I do in Illustrator, so Times New Roman, sure. I'm going to scale that into there. Now, that's obviously not going to work or print good. So what we have to do is add bars top and bottom. Now, if you wanted to engrave, then you would just set this as a fill of a different color, and you can engrave into this ornament. But actually, it's got to be on the backer. So just before I go forward here, I would actually just take this over here, line it up, and then I know that that looks good, and it's missing there. I would set little text. I could put little writing here, stuff like that for an engrave. Bring that back over. There you go. I would engrave Olivia here, whatever text I want under here. Like, for example, if I wanted, like, first Christmas. You could do that. Engrave, then I would just bring this back over here. This would need to be set to a fill. So something like that. You take the stroke off. And that's it. But that's not what we're doing here. So sorry guys for a little bit of a sidetrack, but let's just reverse here for a second. And we will go back to where we were. There we go. Okay, so we've got our name, and we want to attach this for it to cut out. So I'm just going to go over here to the rectangle tool, and I'm actually just going to draw a rectangle right there, and we're going to just bring it up so that it's just overlapping letters and it's overlapping the frame. And then I can go to edit, copy, and paste, edit, copy, edit, paste. Oops. And use our select tool, and we'll do the same thing on the bottom here, just overlapping it a bit onto the frame. Make sure all the letters are overlapped. And there you go. So I would now have to, this is still set as a font. So I need to select Olivia, and we're going to go to convert to path. Actually, I don't think you need to do that in Silhouette Business, but anyways, you then select all, and then we go to Object, Modify, Weld. And there you go. That'll cut out like that. So now if I wanted to add just a little engrave under it, I would take that, put that over top, and we would go, let's just reduce the font size here. First, oops. First Christmas 2022. Go like that. Add a fill to that. Then I would go to Object, Convert to Path. And we could have text there. You can put anything else you want under here, whatever you want. So that's pretty much it, how you add names or engraves to these ornaments in Silhouette Business Edition. We are going to have a look at Inkscape here to show you guys how to add names to the new ornament file that I just released, showing how to do script names, fonts onto the ornaments. So because we're in Inkscape, and Inkscape resizes SVGs that are exported from Illustrator, unless you go to your document properties and adjust it to 72 DPI, but we don't need to do that because I actually provided PDF files in the document. So in Inkscape, open up the file you want and open up the PDF. You'll get this little dialog box here. Don't worry about it. Click OK. So the very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ungroup this. Inkscape, I do not like Inkscape. As everybody knows, I use Illustrator, so I basically just learned a little bit about Inkscape here to help you guys out. So we're going to go and we're going to ungroup this because Inkscape tends to group everything together. So I'm going to ungroup it, and for some reason I'm going to have to ungroup it twice. And you know what? Let's do it 3 times for good measure. So we've got it ungrouped. We've got 2 different pieces there. That's what we want. Now we're going to go and we're going to type in our font. Use your little type tool. We'll go with the name Olivia. And let's use the Hello Bluebird script font that I used. We're going to bring that down to where we want it. Let's scale it how we like it. Now, in this case, because it ends with a little tail on the end of the A, I'm going to overlap that onto the frame. And I'm going to bring this down how I like it. Something like that. Now, as you notice, I don't have any attachment to the frame there. Well, I'm going to need it. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But first, we have the font here. And right now, this is still a font. We don't want that. We need it as a path. So with the word or name selected, we're going to go to Path, Object to Path. Now we have to ungroup it. We're going to go to Object, Ungroup. And as you can see, it's all different pieces here. So we actually have little hearts here that need to be attached to the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 2 eyes, and I'm going to go to Path, Break Apart. That allows me just to move the hearts down. So I'll do that. I'll click down on my little keyboard, something like that. So now we want to add a little tail here. And what I like to do is use this little pen tool here so that I can create a little curved tail. So I don't like to use it. I never use Inkscape, but that's how I'm doing it here in Inkscape. So I'm going to click on over top of the frame, and I'm going to then click on over top of the O. And I'm going to click and hold, and then drag. So you see I can create curves. So I've clicked and hold and drag, and then it's going to want me to do that. But to close the path, I'm just going to go and select the little direct select tool. So now we've got a little tail here, as you can see. So that's what I created. So I need to increase the stroke size of that. Obviously, that's not going to print nice. So we're going to go over to here to your fill and stroke, to our stroke style, and we're going to make it nice and thick. Let it gives you a nice cut. So there we go. But right now, this is set as a stroke. We need it as a path. So quite simply, we're going to, with the little tail selected, we're going to go to Path, Stroke to Path. That's it. Now we're all ready. Everything's broken apart. There we go. So I'm going to select all of it. So I've got the ornament selected, the name, the little hearts, the little tail I made. I'm not selecting the backer. And I'm going to go to Path and Union. And there you go. So after that, we want to just take the fill off and give it a stroke, if it did that for you. And I like to give it a stroke of 0.5. And there you go. That is it, guys. So the name is all in. If you get to, let me just reverse here for a second. If you get to the final point where you selected it all and you've gone to Path, Union, and it didn't union, then go back to Object, ungroup it again. I don't know why Inkscape does this. I find Inkscape just junk. But anyhow, go to ungroup it, and then go to Union again. If that doesn't work, with everything selected, you can click over here on the Nodes tool, click that, and then go to Path Union. So that is it, guys. So again, it's unioned. And if it gave it a fill, we're going to get rid of the fill. We're going to give it a stroke. And we'll give it a stroke of, it looks like the other one's, sorry, 0.5. What's this one at right now? 0.667. So we'll give this one a 0.5 as well. Not that it doesn't really matter, but just for the sake of this video, that's that. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you a different way that we can do this. So let's go ahead and open up the PDF again. Let's just start right from the beginning. Let's bring this right up. So another way we can do this, we're going to start by ungrouping it again. Let's ungroup it 3 times. Don't ask me why. Illustrator is my go-to. So let's say I just want to put a name in. We'll go with Olivia again, and it's not script. Well, I can go like this. Now we're going to go to Object Path. Then we're going to go to Object, ungroup the name again. Now I'm going to create 2 little bars, top and bottom. We got 1. You kind of just want it to overlap a little bit there. We'll just copy and paste that. Control C and Control V for copy paste. Where you go to edit, copy, edit, paste. So now we've got 2 bars like that. Now we're going to select everything, and we're going to go to Path, Union. So there you go. There's a different way you can do it, guys. Now, how I set the engrave. So if I wanted an engrave here with some text, I actually just take this and I bring it over top. Try to line it up nice. Inkscape is very choppy on a Mac. And say I just wanted to say first Christmas. We would take that, put it down here, and then we go to Path, Object Path, and we want to give that some kind of different fill color. So maybe just pink, so that it comes into your laser as a different color. Then you're going to take your original art that you had, bring it back over. We'll take the fill off of that, stroke back on, and there you go. So that's how you would do it in Inkscape. That's it, guys. I hope you guys have found this helpful. How to add the script font to the new ornament designs, adding a little tail so that we can attach it to the frame using Lightburn. Lightburn is not a drawing app like Illustrator or Inkscape or Silhouette or Corel. So I'm going to have to, I provided a little extra file to help you guys out if you're just using Lightburn. So, but it can be done. So let's go ahead, and first we're going to bring in the text. So use our little text tool, and we're going to write Olivia. And I've used the font Hello Bluebird script. So what I want to do first is I'm going to just bring this up here, because I actually want to, I have to attach the little hearts to Olivia. And as you can see, it's all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go convert to path. Now I can just grab these little hearts. So let's zoom in here. We're going to just overlap the hearts just a little bit onto the word. We'll zoom back out. Now, very important, I click and drag and I have to select all of it. And we're going to go to Tools, Weld Shapes. So now it's all together. Perfect. So now we're going to bring this over to our ornament. And we're going to, let me just zoom in so you guys can get a better look. So we've got the tail of the A. Well, we want it to overlap on the frame, and then we're going to need to attach the O here. So I'm going to just scale this up a bit more so the tail of the A goes onto the frame. We can scale this just a little hair more. There we go. So now what we have to do is I need to attach the name to the frame. So I'm going to select both the frame and the name, and we're going to go to Tools, Boolean Union. So there we go. It's attached here. But now we need a little something here to attach. You really don't need to. You could print it just like that and glue it onto the backer, but it's nice to have a little bit of extra support. So what I provided here, we're going to import. In the folder, I've created a folder called Swirls. So we're going to bring in these little swirls that we can use. Bring those in here like that. Bring them over down here like this. And we're going to pick one that we can just put here. So I think this one here works the best. So we'll delete these ones there. And if I just maybe turn it like that. Whoops. Something like that. So now I've got that selected. I want to select the frame, and we're going to go to Tools, Boolean Union. And there you go. That's it. I've got the Olivia with a nice little tail on both sides attached to the frame, ready to print. Now, if I wanted to add an engrave, what I like to do is I bring this over top of this one here, line it up as best you can, and then we can just put in like Christmas 2022. Down like that. You'd give that a fill. Oops. Fill. So that would engrave, and the other one would cut. So that's pretty much it. And then I would take my art back that I had, move it over. So now we know our engrave is lined up nice there. So that's a way to do it using only Lightburn. So let's go ahead and show you a little bit of a different way here we can do this. A different way in Lightburn. We showed you the script font. Now let's show you just using a serif font and a different way we can use these ornaments. So let's go with the name Olivia again. We'll grab that, put it into the ornament. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create rectangles right across. And we want to come into the letter a bit. That looks good. It's into the letter. And all over top of the frame. Then I'm going to actually just duplicate that rectangle and grab it, bring it down, and do the same on the bottom. Now I want to grab Olivia. I want to hold Shift, grab the other rectangle, grab this rectangle, and we're going to go Weld Shapes. So it's all welded together now, our little frame, kind of like a monogram. Now I'm going to select the ornament. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to select Olivia, and we're going to go to Tools, Boolean Union. And there you have it. Olivia is set in a different font, kind of cool. And again, if you want to add an engrave, you bring this over top, put your engrave there, and then just move this back over there, ready to go. So again, use the AI files when using Illustrator to make sure that these are sized correctly. Lightburn does resize SVGs, so I always recommend to use the AI files. Thanks, guys.